It's a BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by Alex KR.
Ian, Kyle, what are some of your favorite vehicles from shows, games, and other media? Which ones would you most like to own for yourselves?
Oh, man. There's so many.
I mean, you could go get the obvious ones out of the way first. The A-Team van, Ecto-1, the Time Machine, DeLorean Time Machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take any of those. Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah, the ultimate GPS.
Yeah.
Actually will talk to you instead of sounding like a robot.
Uh-huh.
And then sass you. I said turn right. That was a left. Do you have problems? I don't know, Kit. Do we have problems?
I have a problem with you. I'll turn this car around right now.
What was it called? What was the official name? The tank out of Thundercats. The Thunder Tank?
I don't know, actually, but and it's pretty cool.
Like, oh my god, dude. That is like the best fantasy tank. Like, it's perfect. And I'm going like the old classic design. Like the newer one is alright. It was a sleeker pass, but the first one, you can't really improve upon perfection. That was just beautiful.
Nice.
Same era, the Mirage out of Silverhawks. That's just a classy personnel transport.
Nice. Wonder Woman's invisible jet.
Yeah. The Turtle Van, Party Wagon, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. The Quinjet from Marvel, various Marvel things.
Yeah, maybe. You can have your Quinjet. I want my R-Wing.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Star Fox Assault
right.
model specifically. Oh, that's a beautiful ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take it. Any of the cars from F-Zero, pretty much. Would love to have one of those. It don't matter, but I mean, the Blue Falcon is the legend. But you know, any of them would be fine.
Out of all the Star Wars tech, give me the TIE Defender.
Yeah, the Defender is better than the Fighter. It's always has been.
I was unreasonably hyped when they brought it back in Rebels. Just like,
really?
Oh my god, dude! I don't know why I love that ship so much. I remember playing the original TIE Fighter on my dad's PC.
Yeah,
and after multiple missions playing as a regular TIE Fighter, where you explode if you hit a bit of space dust.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bomber, which is slow and explodes if you hit space dust, or the Advanced, where you go way too fast and you hit the space dust. It's like, can I have something? Why? It's the Empire. Outfit me with one level of shield. Please, these X-Wings, they're tearing me apart. We now have this TIE Defender. Oh, that's sick looking. It has double layer shields. Ooh, it has a hyperdrive. Yee! It has missiles and ion beams and 6 cannons. All hail the Empire.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I don't know, man. It's just a sick design. It's overpowered as all get out. I don't know. I like it. I dig that.
The TIE Interceptor is also pretty cool. Not gonna lie. It's from Rogue Squadron, I think.
Yeah, it was also in TIE Fighter, and that. I mean, it's kind of like the TIE Advanced, just a slightly different wing shape.
Yeah.
Well, there's like Vader's Advanced, and then there's the. Okay, I'm geeking out too much on the Star Wars stuff, but.
Yeah. I mean, like TIE Fighters are kind of lame, but every other TIE is freaking awesome. Oh man, so good. Let's see. I mean, the Enterprise is fun. That's a big vehicle to pilot, though.
And now give me the Defiant.
Or
small, sleek cloaking technology.
Yeah. Or shoot, I can't remember. What are the Klingon ships called? Birds of Prey. Oh, those things are pretty cool. Yeah. I wouldn't mind having one of those.
And we would be remiss, nay, heretical, if we did not mention the Batmobile. Which one? Yes.
Even the tumbler is all right. Not my favorite design, but it's certainly capable.
It looks fun.
It looks like an RC car, which makes sense because they turned it into an RC car many times. Oy. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Trying to think, are there any others we haven't mentioned yet? Like any major ones? I can't think of any. Oh, well, maybe they'll come to us or they'll be down in the comments. Let's move on to the next question. Are either of you familiar with the Ape Escape games? What are your thoughts on them?
The entirety of my exposure to Ape Escape is in, like, Metal Gear Solid 3.
That's kind of what I thought. I played a little bit of the first one many years ago when it was new, I think. And that's about it. So I have not played them. I do not have a fresh take on them. But they certainly are fun. They look fun. But the monkeys remind me of rabbits, and that's no good. That's no good. But that's okay. At least they're not rabbits, so... All right, next question. If Kyle were to become the official voice for any Sonic character, who should it be? I can't. I feel like I can't answer this. Well, you might be able to, Ian.
Comedy answer or legitimate answer?
Why not both?
Like, as the fandom has named him, Barry the Quokka.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could probably do that.
Yeah, I probably could.
Legitimately.
Funny. He was one I was going to suggest. I've also been told that I could be a good Gadget from Forces, the
sure,
Red Wolf. Yeah.
Comedy option. New voice of Omega. No inflection, no filter, just you and your natural voice.
Just me.
Yeah.
And all the giggling.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the most important part. Yeah. Oh. I don't know about that. You'd be a good Starline, though, as we've established. All right. Could it have ever been planned for there to be a greater connection between Iblis and Chaos? I see many parallels between the two of them and some of the various elements within their respective games' stories.
You're not wrong. I don't believe there's any intended connection, and I personally would prefer there not to be. I like Chaos being just a mutant Chow with special powers and a kind of small tragic story, and not have any real connection to a timeless god of fire and smoke and time. I don't know. I like Chaos being at his base more street level.
Ironic, considering he flooded the streets.
Yes, that's part of the tragedy, but...
Would Knuckles eventually need a successor to guard the Master Emerald? Would he have any thoughts on this?
I mean, if we're pretending that this is a narrative that actually progresses and goes somewhere, then yeah, eventually. But that's not like a practical issue for us right now, because he's never going to age. It does beg the question, who's watching the Master Emerald in Silver's time? And we barely got to reference him acknowledging his loneliness in Frontiers. So it would be something interesting to touch upon. It would be a good motivator for him. I just don't know if or when we'll get to approach that.
Well, that's why Styx is there. She can guard the Master Emerald. She'd actually be good at it. She'd beat off anybody who came anywhere close to it. She'd just smack them right in the face.
And there's so many traps around it now that no one could get to it. And she can't leave it. It's foolproof.
Yeah, pretty much. And, I mean, she wouldn't get swindled by Eggman, probably. Maybe. I don't know. I wonder. Nah, I don't think so. Why was Thrash the Devil such an awesome character? I'd be excited to hear anything that you have to say about him, his stories, what he's done, and what he might have done.
In large part, it comes to Tracy Yardley's design. I came with him with the premise of, and this is like the most nerdiest and obscure character design origin, but in Sonic and Knuckles, when you toggle between Sonic or Knuckles on the character select, the little icon between the two of them shifts ever so briefly from one to the other. And in that like split second frame of sprite transition, there's this purple quasi hedgehog, quasi echidna thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like, here, Tracy, take this extremely small chibi sprite that isn't meant to look like anything for realsies and make that a thing.
Yep.
And he did.
Yeah, I really love that. You really left no stone unturned. You really just don't leave anything on the table when you can.
Forget the stones, they've all been turned. I tilled the earth underneath and started scraping the bedrock.
Like, if it's on the table, you're gonna take it.
It's always under the table, a house.
It's always very funny when I hear they say, "Oh, it was Ian's decision that's not canon anymore." I'm like, everything would literally be canon if it were up to him. There's no way.
As for the character, it's, he's straightforward, he's decisive, he's got a noble-ish ambition. And while he is arguably antagonistic, you understand where he's coming from. Like, everything is built off of the tragedy of the previous backstory material, and he is formed by the injustices done in the past, and so you understand where his anger and motivation comes from. But he's also not like wholly blinded by it. He's not driven by a single character trait. He has a range of emotion. He has degrees of how far he's going to go one way or the other, and that robustness to him makes him appealing. It's a pity that we had to throw most of that nuance out the window towards the end and hit the accelerator.
Stuff him in the box along with everybody else. Great. Blah. How would you describe a team up between Sleet Dingo and Infinite? What the dog's doing?
I think Sleet and Dingo would be intimidated by Infinite. Because he just has such a presence. He comes on so strong, and they're both cowards. And then at some point, Sleet would get into his head that he's the smarter of the three, and that he could do something to maybe get a hold of the Phantom Ruby and gain that power for himself. And then Infinite traps them both in some kind of nightmare void for the rest of all time. Dingo's not really at fault, but he's going to get trapped in there too, because that's kind of just what happens to Dingo.
What a dingo. Following up on the recent Tales Tube featuring Amy, I know this may be overthinking things, but would Mach and Max still exist somewhere within the Prime Dimension, or are they only part of an alternate timeline?
I don't know, because they're not utilized assets. Like, if we're talking like strictly the unused concept art characters for the sound test. Now, if we're talking about the ones that were introduced in Archie Sonic, then, say they're in the Archie Sonic dimension and, yeah, they're fine in the multiverse, whatever. If we're talking like true Sega Sonic, I don't know if they even count as characters. Like, I don't know if they are viable, but I mean, if we're going to go with the idea that, anything's possible in the multiverse, then yeah, sure, they're somewhere out there having the time of their lives, living their best lives.
Pitch them and find out, Ian.
What? Well, I mean, I almost said we've got other things. We got greater priorities, but you know me. Stones, turned, earth, tilled, bedrock, scraped.
Speaking of, when are you going to pitch Agent Stone? Put him in there. Honey the Cat takes her design and inspiration from another character featured in Sega's Fighting Vipers. Another one of Sega's characters could be converted into a Mobian-style version of themselves for the Sonic series to use. Who do you both think would be a fun choice for this?
Like some of my immediate picks, I wouldn't want them to change. I just want them to kind of share the universe. Like Samurai Star is within the greater Sonic cosmos. He just doesn't come to a star system.
Yeah.
Or does, for funsies. Pulls a Kirby.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, Knights doesn't need to be Sonic-fied. I think he just fits. Say that he exists in the dream dimension. That dream world is just another aspect of imaginary world. You know, have him and Lumina team up. Have Void and Riala cause shenanigans.
Oh, that would be fun. I'd like to see that. I mean, bring Alex Kidd over. You don't have to change his design either. Just bring him over.
But that's not the question. The question is a conversion of one to the other.
Yeah. Trying to think of
you know what? Maybe the Bonanza Brothers.
Maybe. That might be fun.
The competent rivals to Rough and Tumble.
Yeah.
You know, they actually pull off their heists. They actually get away.
Oh, well, is Bayonetta still a Sega property? Bring Bayonetta over.
I think so.
You can Mobianify her. That would be fun. I think Bayonetta. I think
Secretary Bird. All you have to do is put a beak on her.
Let's see. What about Skies of Arcadia?
See, I wasn't going to go there because that's way too easy. But...
I know, but I know you.
Full on blue Rogues XPs, yes, please.
Yeah.
Only insofar as that's the only way I'd be able to like really touch that property. I kind of don't want it to do that because I like it as it is.
Right.
Like, don't cross pollinate just to get it alive. Just bring it back.
But the Mobian version of Gilius Thunderhead. God, that's such a cool name. Yeah. What is it with Golden Axe and ridiculously cool names? Axe Battler.
My name is Axe Battler. I wield a sword.
Tyrus Flare. Death Adder. Because he adds death. Because he's evil.
It's a snake. He's named after a snake.
But it's funnier if he's just Death Adder because he adds death. It's mathematical.
You say Death Adder and you hear the electric guitars in the back of your head.
Exactly.
You see the pyrotechnics go off.
I hear Death Adder, man. I have the perfect metal cover of Golden Axe music to play with him too.
I mean, it sounds like a death metal band.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. That would be fun. That'd be super fun. All right. I think that's enough for now. If each of you could design a new Chow Garden, what would you want it to look like? I don't even know what the existing Chow Gardens look like, honestly. I really did not spend much time with the Chow Garden in anything.
There were 3 or 4, depending on how you want to count it. Well, no, 6. What am I talking about? Like, okay, so Adventure 1, there was kind of the default garden. No, excuse me. I'm mixing up my gardens. Sonic Adventure 1, there was the garden in the Station Square Hotel, and that looked like a repurposed lobby. Like, the water feature and the trees and such were just there for the Chow, and then everything else was, like, tiled, and it looked like a hotel ballroom that they just turned into a garden. I just thought it felt very sterile. I didn't like it. The Mystic Ruins garden looked like a true nature scene. Like there was fallen logs and natural water features, and it was lush and green, and my Chow kept drowning in it, but it looked really cool. And then the Eggman themed one was this like layer cake styled circular island with the missile that he launched stuck in the top of it. And it was a funny gimmick island, but there was like no terrain to really walk around on, and it was surrounded by water, and it was not really a fun garden to be in. Adventure 2 really improved things. The default garden is this lovely little lush tropical cliff face with a waterfall feature.
This is the only one. That's the only one I remember. Probably because it comes up frequently.
I mean, that was your default garden, and
yeah,
I think that's the one everybody kind of associates with Chow Gardens by default.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Hero Garden was kind of like the regular one, just with a more angelic theme. More white, almost Roman-esque columns and ruins for them to climb on, and I think there was a faint bell chime every now and again. Everything was the more pastel colors. It was all right. Kind of bland, but it was all right. And then the Dark Garden was this like charcoal gray hellscape with blood water and a snarling mountain face in the background. And in the Dreamcast version, there was a whole hidden cavern with like a cauldron and weird runic symbols carved into the wall, and they got rid of that in the GameCube version, and that broke my heart. That cave was cool.
Oh man, why'd they get rid of it?
But there's like
too much.
Probably because it was kind of hidden, and if your Chow just happened to wander off in there and start to drown, you wouldn't know where it was.
Oh no.
But they left the Iron Maidens that were Chow shaped hanging in the trees.
Oh, good. As long as the torture devices are still there, it's fine.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very important.
All the trees were like barren, and the Chow fruit they grew looked like the most angry pine cones you can imagine.
Uh-huh.
So it was fun. It was great in theme. And of course you had to descend the stairs to get to it. You ascend the stairs to get to the Hero Garden. You descend the stairs to get to the Dark Garden.
Oh.
So
symbolism.
With all that in mind, I don't think I could limit myself to one garden. I would want multiple styles of gardens. Like I would want a garden that's themed for run types. So like have a little loop to loop that the speed type Chow can like run around in, or have a like a little natural 100-meter dash track off to the side. Have a power themed garden that's more like rocky and rugged with cliff faces, so they're always climbing on it. Have a flying themed one where there's maybe a bunch of trees and they fly between branches, or there's a particular little water feature that they can easily glide across. And then for a swim garden, have something that's dotted with little islands, sizable enough so that you can, take care of your Chow, but, lots of little waterways throughout so that they can swim and maybe do little dolphin jumps over the smaller islands or through rings or something. Do islands themed off of zones. I mean, there'd probably be a Green Hill Island just because you can't escape it. But like,
I figured that would be the Loop Speed Island anyway. Something like that. Maybe. Yeah.
Like a little chemical plant island where it's perfectly safe, like grape soda water instead of like the Mega Mac, or
delicious.
Like little marble garden zone with like that weird arrow spitting face, except you bump it on the nose and it spits out a Chow nut or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Sky Sanctuary one where if they wander off the edge of the cliff, they just kind of get blown back on, because we're not going to have our Chow fall to their doom. That would be horrid.
But we'll have Iron Maidens for them.
A hidden palace garden. Oh man, just the possibilities are endless. I want all the Chow things.
Give them Sonic Heroes style garden with just a lot of rails to grind between flat surfaces. Flat floating islands with rails to grind in between them. That's Sonic Heroes.
Team Chaotix Chow Garden, it's just their office.
Pretty much.
Chow riding on the ceiling fan, rifling through the filing cabinet.
Yeah, it's just
playing with the phone.
It's just chaos the whole time.
One of them stuck in the blinds.
One of them gnawing on Vector's head. That's adorable. All right, we got one last question, and it's got some murder mystery spoilers. So if you haven't played it yet, well, don't be like me and go play it. If Eggman had managed to successfully capture the cast on board his Badnik train, what do you think might have happened next?
Comedy option. He's angry that these aren't the people he was looking for. Like, there's a ship captain, and there's a debutante, and there's a old school detective, there's a poet, there's a butcher. Why is there a butcher here? Who are all these people? I don't recognize them. Send them on their way.
Really? You think he wouldn't recognize any of them?
Maybe that's more of a Boom Eggman thing.
Yeah.
More legitimate answer, he would attempt to, have them all in a single train car and use that as a cage and transport that entire train car to whatever gulag or processing plant he has. But you have most of the Sonic heroes assembled together. They would bust out. They would carve their way to freedom. It would be a big rip-snoring action-adventure set piece, but they'd get out. They'd be okay.
You got Blaze there. I think you'll be fine. All right. With that, that's all we got.
Thanks to Alex KR for sponsoring this BumbleKast Mini. If you want one of your own, head over to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Thanks for listening.